Do it all with Steel Battery. Now is the best time to save big on over 40 hardworking Steel tools. Hurry into your local Steel dealer or shop online.
I'm kind of curious. Like, I mean, I know a bit about how some of these things came together, but I've never asked you the question of, you had the cheaper by the dozen 2 opportunity and, big movie, all these things. But you ended up at some point on David Letterman, and I really don't know how that came to be. And I also think that's absolutely insane, and not a lot of people would know that. So can you please tell us a bit about how that
resume? Like, as soon as somebody meets you, like when you walked in this room for the first time, you should have been like, and I was on David Letterman.
Right.
Yeah. So what's the story there? Because I never had a chance to really ask you how that all happened.
Well, we were at the height of our career as far as like where the big competitions were. So there was a big progression towards, throwing it all in and getting on those big shows. And ESPN at the time, opened the door to the Letterman show. And so I was top 2 in the world.
So that's Great Outdoor Games?
Yes. And they were moving from individual sports into the combined Superjack competition.
Okay.
So Superjack is where in our division, we had to do climbing, log rolling, chopping, sawing, and a boom running. And
it's like a decathlon.
Axe throw. Yeah, it was slimmed down for ESPN. It was an octathlon.
Okay.
And so I was top 2 at the time, and so myself and Wade Stewart were the chosen.
BC man.
Yeah, from Parkersville, Vancouver Island.
Yeah, good guy.
That's what they called it. Dave was like, from Parkersville. He's like,
Parkersville.
Yeah, Parksville. All good. And so that was fun. Met Will Ferrell on that one. So, I bumped into Will as I needed a wardrobe change and had a little blowout there to practicing for the tree climb. So I ripped my pants in the crotch.
On David Letterman? You had a blowout on Letterman?
Yeah,
it does happen. Yeah.
You want to have the right pants, but you don't want to go too baggy. But as soon as you go too tight, So what in the tree climb, you're climbing to the top of a pole, cedar pole, and you're bailing out of this thing, and you jump maybe 20 feet down, right?
Wow.
There's a little friction from the rope. People like to call it free fall, but you're
not much.
Yeah. One piece of rope that's sliding down a cedar tree, and so you hit this crash pad below, and as you bend, like it just explodes, like right. So, and if you're not wearing stretchy enough clothing at the time, so
coming from a girl who has a larger booty. I've done far less to split my pants.
But did you do it on David Letterman?
Right.
No.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
I'm sure you've done it in some key locations. Though.
Absolutely.
Right.
Yes.
And handled it with the best of ease for sure. So anyway, on the way up to the wardrobe, I bumped into Will Ferrell and had a good chat with him, and it was pretty interesting. This is 2004. So he was like,
it would have been the height. That'd have been old school.
You name it. Yeah.
Old school would have been.
Oh no, I'd say
right around that
for old school actually. Yeah.
But he'd been,
right.
Yeah.
So old school was
amazing.
Definitely well
right around then.
But he was at the point of his career that he could do an interview while stoned, I'm pretty sure. So he did not mind going on the Letterman show.
We just got some new appreciation for Will Ferrell.
Yeah. He was like, wow, that's cool. Lumberjack. Yeah, it's like on the street, Will. And you can come out. Maybe I will. Maybe I will. It's like, do you know where you're at? The David Letterman show? You're on in 10 minutes. This is a great, you're as last minute as I am. Putting the mic on me while I'm somebody's fitting me for pants.
Oh my God.
Great. Yeah. So we were on the street, 51st Street.
So what all did you do? You did the pole climb.
Yes. And they actually started out with it was a 9-minute segment actually on Letterman.
Wow.
So yeah.
That's a long segment.
That is a huge segment.
That's a lot of airtime.
Wow. And was he interacting with you?
He was in my ear. And the worst part of that was my guy, Wade Stewart, who was panicky as all get out. Anyway, we were on the same audio channel. And right before the show, he didn't have his earpiece in properly. And he's like, I can't hear anything, guys. And they're like counting down, right? So the guy just cranks us up, like we're on not separate audio channels.
no.
Right? So I have Dave blasting in my ears, like as my ear was bleeding. I'm 24 years old on the Letterman show, and it's going off in my ear. So they asked the interview, and then he said about the axe throwing target. He's like, and I see, gentlemen, there's a axe throwing target here in the background. Will you be doing any axe throwing? And that was kind of a prop, really, but we did have axes. I'm like, well, we can, Dave. Yeah, maybe you'll set a big apple on your head here in New York. And he's like, guess again.
That's awesome.
He put the blocks up pretty hard on that one. So
you bantered axe throw with David Letterman.
Right.
That may be
so
one of the
cool.
first references to like double bit axe throwing on a kind of a mainstream stage. I mean, you had that
double bit for sure.
really
Absolutely.
like you have Great Outdoor Games, and you have Super Jack, Iron Jack, these different avenues for the sport, and then all of a sudden you're introducing things. And
right,
I mean, how much does that lead into the future state beyond your competition term, where now you're starting to focus on building the sport and giving back to it and focusing on axe throwing?
Well, for me, it's always just been a matter of setting the bar, and and I know that it's all obtainable, and all part of the equation as well is necessary. Every part of those things, just like this podcast, is a dynamic that fills part of the puzzle and allows people to gain a better understanding. Also, being on the Letterman shows you that we're worthy to be on the Letterman show.
Right.
And so that says that, okay, this sport is interesting enough. And we had great ratings.
Really?
And the way that ESPN was building the characters at the time, they were really character building, development of the storylines, so that we could become, really icons in the sport. Now, you say I'm a humble guy. Not sure.
You are.
And but I know it's been done before, folks. In the 30s, they had huge promoters for lumberjack sports, and the guides events that they did back in the Boston Square Gardens and the New York. Help me out here.
Madison Square?
Madison Square Gardens.
really?
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. So they were, and then later LA, they were doing the sport in front of massive audiences.
Really?
And the promoters hyped up these individuals as the best of the North Woods coming down to show off their skills for the Boston public, and
I feel like you just took me on a time travel experience.
I feel like
then the
recalling
rap
those
starts,
Yeah.
So it's how you can reach and connect to the audience,
It is.
And that's why it's so important to have Kim along with us on this journey.
Thank
is
you.
because you get the chance to appreciate it. How come? What makes this interesting to you? And that's what's important to us, right? So yes, I can say, oh, I met David Letterman. I built the shoes for Steve Martin. But really, do you really care about that? It's a great accolade, but what can you do? How can you gain that feeling? And that's really the difference maker of, do you have legs, or are you a flash in the pan? And that's the point we always have to come back to again, So yeah, publicity is great, but you have to have sustenance.
Yep.
And that's what axe throwing has.
Yeah.
The ability that we can bring people in for a corporate getaway, a birthday party, anniversary, funeral party, whatever it is, they can come in and throw an axe and we can show them how to do it and have fun.
Do you have a lot of funeral parties?
No, they're pretty dead.
What are you talking about? I just got rid of somebody's ashes here.
Oh, stop it.
Why was your drink?
Hickory, I barely know her.
No. Yeah.
In this country, we believe in what we're made of. Grit. Drive. The will it takes to be different. We've been called to serve this great land. Because we were made for this.
I think to me, seeing you and what you've done, I think, and I'm not going to say, I hate to say like after your competitive career, because I think you can still compete whatever you want. You compete in axe throwing for sure. Right. But after kind of the logger sports side, and I'm done with the logger sports side too.
Right.
But to see the things that you've done to give back to the sport, you've built your own custom designed park specifically for logger sports, the Wild Axe Park in Barrington, which we've hosted events there. You've hosted countless axe throwing events. We're hosting the Canadian Championships in axe throwing
some big things,
soon.
yeah.
And then of course Timber Lounge with the axe throwing facility. To me, that is showing, those are the legs. You talk about legs in the sport, and do you have the longevity? That is evidence of the sport's been good to me. How do I give back to it? How do I introduce more people to it? And that park must have been an enormous undertaking.
Yeah, it was all but forgotten when I took it over. So it was a hidden gem that was a beautiful spot in the 1800s, and then it was
I love history. So like every time you mention something about history, whether it's the sport or this location, like give me more.
Right.
Yeah.
So there was a mansion that was a housing spot for those who were sequestered to be part of a jury, and that was the house that belongs to this property. I didn't want anything to do with that. There was potential there, but a lot of work. And my focus was to pass on the sport and potentially show people what's interesting about what we do. But it was a jungle piece of land overgrown with bushes and trees falling over and briars. Oh my gosh. And it was a spot that you hid your eyes from. You didn't even want, like the haunted house that full with Spanish moss.
Say more.
Yeah. Where you just say, there's bad vibes. We're going to leave that one alone, right? So what happened in that sequestered house? And that's what that aura was. But I knew there was something deeper within that was timeless. And I believe that spot that I purchased the Wild Axe Park in 2011, 2012, I did the kids camp, so teaching kids how to do their sport. To do that, I had to clear the land, and I built such a big bonfire from all the shrubbery that it was striking. The flames were touching the power lines that were 30 feet in the air, 35 feet up in the air.
Yikes.
That was a big fire. Yeah. It was fun. Yeah, it was a good one.
It was fun.
So, Ryan said this before, is if you want to bake a cake, you got to smash some eggs. And it took a lot of dirt and
a few dozen eggs on that one.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Well,
so it was worth it because I saw the vision. And really, honestly, Ryan, if you want to say I've done a lot for the sport, I feel I haven't done enough of what I would love to give to the sport and the people.
I mean, respectfully, I'll disagree. I think you've given an enormous amount. The park is one thing, and you mentioned the kids camps, hosting kids camps and introducing youth to the sport is huge. We talk about the importance of bringing youth into the sport, whether that's learning how to bow saw or axe throw or canoe or whatever, guides side of things. But I think the event hosting is something that has evolved as well, and hosting high-level competitions is a way of showcasing the sport in a way that, to me, it as well ties to your roots and having experienced world-class competitions all around, whether it's outdoor games or Iron Jack or Lumberjack World Championships, which just took place this past weekend in Hayward.
Sure.
These big events, and now you can say, well, I'm gonna introduce this to my world, my locale, my region, so they can see what's available. And we've worked together, Darren and I, a number of years hosting these events, and
You
Lumberjack
created
competition.
the Nova Scotia Championships, and I was the host on the
Yeah,
microphone.
the very first one. Like,
Right? So
yeah, I mean that.
standing on a pile of pallets with a Fender amp and a mic in my hand, it's just blasting that thing out.
So there's a story in that one. I'll tell you. I remember that. So I started oh boy, tidal wave, the Mediterranean coming back. The octopus got him. So
Next.
I remember. So
Deep dive.
So in 2016, same year that you started Timber Lounge, I started the Nova Lumberjack Society, nonprofit. The idea was to grow and promote the sport. And at the same time, Darren, parallel, totally independent, is starting the Timber Lounge. He's got Wild Axe Park and Wild Axe Productions, and he's doing his thing. I'm doing my thing. Totally adjacent, but parallel to one another, really independent. And my goal was to host this big lumberjack competition, the Nova Scotia Lumberjack Championships, for the first time. It was an idea I had. There hadn't been a professional lumberjack competition in Nova Scotia for nearly 10 years. And I wanted to give back to the sport. I wanted to showcase the sport to my area. Sound familiar?
Very.
So
where it came from, the inspiration, of course.
Yeah.
Being out west. And
well, that was it. I'd seen it at the highest level, Squamish and Campbell River and all these things. And so I'm about 2 weeks ahead, and I've been busting my ass to get this competition off the ground. It's the first time I've ever done it. First time ever, a lot of learning curve, a lot of bumps in the road. It's 2 weeks before, and the folks that are supposed to provide it was one of our sponsors. I won't mention them, but they weren't a sponsor in the end. Decided they weren't going to provide the sound equipment for the show.
Okay.
And kind of held us hostage and said, like, well, you need to do this if we're going to do this. And it's like, guys, I'm 2 weeks out. We're a nonprofit. No one's getting paid here. We need sound equipment. They basically pulled out on us. And I was in a real pinch. And I didn't really know what to do. And I had the idea, I'm going to give Darren a ring. And I reached out to him and didn't even flinch. He's like, "Oh yeah, buddy, I'll be there, no problem at all. I'll show up. I'll bring the sound equipment over." I don't even think he asked for a cent. I think he just, I don't remember. I bet you he didn't ask for a penny, and he showed up and was our MC for the day, and it was scorching hot. And that was our first year, and it was a huge deal to me, and it meant a lot. And I don't know if I've ever even properly thanked you for it, but it meant a lot to me then, and it means a lot to me now because that was a big event. And here we are years later,
When it counts, Steel delivers. One battery, over 60 tools, all-day performance, all-day comfort, all-day power. Ready for any job. Clearing, cutting, trimming, shaping. Steel Pro Battery. Built for work.
In the corner, like you
just doing
nice. The gratitude.
Oh.
I love that the foundations that you both have for this friendship are so strong.
If you had a serious need, though, your friends would come to the rescue.
Absolutely.
Right.
I hate being that person to ask for help, but
Yeah, right. But if it's serious enough, and you have the vision,
Mhm.
People respect that, and they're going to naturally just flow with that vision,
Yeah.
and because they know the bigger picture eventually is going to come to realization.
Yeah.
And the necessity is now. And hey, if it lines up and you can do it and it's going to matter, yeah, that's what's important, So it was just about like, yeah, I can facilitate that. And if it's in the scorching heat, I become a legend. Perfect.
And he did. And that was the day.
Right? So
Wow.
TSN was
Yeah.
there.
That's right. Yeah, that was
Yeah.
Lumberjack's TV series. They filmed that. That was another big thing. We were filming for television, and you fast forward a few years, and all of a sudden we're working together as partners now on our own projects where we hosted, organized, delivered the world championships in axe throwing in Barrington. Huge undertaking. I'm talking 2-3 years of planning to deliver this. We had hundreds of competitors from 10 countries around the world. We filmed it, created episodes for TSN, the roots of ESPN for you, and then jumping ahead years later, and we're producing our own television series for TSN.
Right.
That was a big deal. And that wouldn't have happened if it weren't for Darren, if it weren't for Susie, your partner, who's at future guest of the show.
I can't wait.
Those were big moments that I really believe they're all linked together. It's not like one-off things.
Right.
It comes from the passion and the heritage and the love that we share for the sport. And,
Absolutely.
And ultimately, where did that lead to? Our own television series. And I mean, we got to film the Wild Axe Championships. We had Tyler Wenzel on here who won the individual and led his team to victory of the teams.
Solid performance by Tyler.
Tyler's incredible. What did it mean to you? I don't think we've ever really talked about this in the sense of like the holistic sense, but what did it mean to you to be producing and creating a standalone television series on axe throwing in your facility that you built with your own two hands with your name on it? Wild Axe is you, and it's the Wild Axe Championships on TSN. What did that mean to you to finally sit down and be like, I'm watching this? I mean, we hosted it together, but like, what did that mean? Because that was a big thing, I think. Like, that's a big milestone. I know that's a weird thing to maybe think about, but
you're
but
asking me to say, feel the the finish line, and you're not supposed to feel the finish line. What did they say? The mask of all deception is congratulations. Right?
Wow.
So yeah,
I'm learning things right now.
Push that aside right from the start.
But you gotta appreciate your milestones too. That's a big milestone, and
it's a stepping stone.
Fair,
yeah,
but but they've all led to one thing after that, and whatever comes next,
right?
This is part of. Honestly, this podcast exists because that television series exists. That television series existed because we did the World Championships.
Yeah.
And the World Championship, one thing leads to another. And
it was a Halifax, Dartmouth-based production that
Nova Scotia
woke up the community to say, there's opportunity.
Yeah.
These guys here, they have an avenue. Yeah. And unfortunately for me, I have too much confidence to know that we can go to wherever we want to. There's the destination is it requires work, right?
Yeah.
And the calculation is how much work and how much confidence, right? And I have the confidence because I believe and I know and I've experienced, right? I know that we've had huge ratings on ESPN. We were higher than the X Games.
That's impressive.
That was 2005. We were right behind the Masters in golf, right? And we were on Letterman. So I mean, we can be on TSN, of course, and the being at the Timber Lounge is the opportunity to get those close shots and highlight the competitors.
Yeah,
and in an intense environment where we had Carl Bischoff,
I was just
top
that.
brass
And
in
what
the
did he
sport.
say?
He said, I have never been so nervous as I was there. It felt like he was on the cutting edge of his life. And
he'd be nearly 70.
Yeah.
And been competing probably since he was 15 years old.
Yes.
And
skinny little guy.
Yeah.
And I saw the old videos.
He was the guy I was telling you, he throws underhand.
Yeah.
So he was in the Wild Axe Championship. He was on the West Coast team. And give him a little top up. Help yourself.
Just give me the smoke.
Hey, shout out to Wild Axe Productions, sponsor of the Double Bitter podcast.
And I'm not used to this. Do you want some smoke?
Yeah, just smoke and whiskey.
But
he
Carl,
is from Barrington,
I
isn't
know.
he?
Carl said to us, well, when we said help yourself in Nova Scotia, we mean it.
Want another cherry?
Yeah,
little snack?
Oh yeah,
double cherry.
Yeah, double cherry. Another piece.
You got it.
Buck cherry.
Kim, Carl said to us
Do you want some
at
ice?
that time. Oh yeah, dig in there.
I mean, if it's not too much of a bother.
I'm so sorry.
Weedram.
now.
Weedram.
Right. Yeah.
That's a massive chunk of ice.
It's
Hey,
iceberg.
Where'd you get that from? Iceberg Alley or something?
No, I went to Iceland for you.
Oh, did you? There's no ice in Iceland, by the way. You had to go to the glaciers.
Stop
I was just in Iceland.
ruining my trip. I'm going in September.
There is.
There you go.
There is. Yeah, Iceland. You are in for a trip. All right. That place is
Have you been-
otherworldly. I've been there 4 times.
Oh my God.
Yeah,
I was just there last week.
stopovers.
I was there on Monday.
You went there as well? Did you go to?
Well, no, I was in the
Did you go to the hot tubs?
No, I was in the airport. I was there for
How much
3
I
hours.
digress this story, but I really digress the story, and I'm sorry.
It does.
Volcanoes.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah, there's
Well,
big.
yeah, Kim's off there in September, right?
How many
Yeah.
days?
Yeah.
A week.
Oh, that's
Very
good.
cool.
That'll work.
Yeah.
Yeah. Are
Very
you gonna venture far from the city?
Yeah.
The city of Reykjavik is hardcore.
Is it?
Yeah, man, it's wild. Their streets are heated by geothermics.
That's very cool.
You know, in the wintertime it's cozy.
Mm.
And you can meet.
So if
people
I
like
turned
crazy.
into a homeless person, I could just lay on the streets there?
That's right.
No, you could get a sauna by laying in the streets,
Mm-hmm.
you know. But what's gonna happen is there's gonna be locals that are gonna say, hey, you're cool. How about you learn about our culture in my garage and we have drinking contest? Like that's Iceland. Like,
Sign me up.
yeah.
You guys might never see me again. I could teach them about whiskey. I
we'll,
could teach them about American whiskey.
We'll bring you in virtually.
Okay.
It's gonna be really difficult
I,
because you'll be mixing drinks on your side. You'll have to drink all 3.
But I'm going to be
Canadian
sitting in
whiskey
a
is a good-
thermal,
Just slur it.
geothermal pool sipping
Oh
whiskey.
my God. Yeah, no, you're.
I don't see what's wrong.
I don't think you'd be on the show. I don't think you'll care or have any interest whatsoever.
I'm so sorry. I have completely sidelined the story.
No, I could.
Oh, Carl.
Yes, Carl. Tell me about Carl.
Carl said that was the most intense competition he'd ever been in.
Right.
And he's been in all of them, all over the world. He's
Yeah.
been to the World Championship. He's been to Sydney. He's been all over the world.
Right.
The biggest competition. He said that was the most intense atmosphere he'd ever had. And I think a lot of it was because not necessarily the television, because he's been under cameras many times.
Right.
It wasn't the TV. It was that it was head to head. The way, and like to Darren's credit, Darren is a creator. He's always creating things. He has the axe throwing app Axis Squared. He's created Timber Lounge. He's created,
Yeah.
he's making axe handles, all kinds of things.
Logs for training.
There you go.
Right.
The park, but he created the way that this competition would run, and it was totally unique from any other axe throwing competition. The scoring was, it's a standard scoring, but we had things like the rally throw where you had to determine who threw first. You threw one at a time. You didn't throw. Like, it was a really intense format. And the competitors loved it. And it ended up being a really close competition.
Right.
East Coast, squeaks it out. Tyler squeaks it out. It all comes down to the last throw. I mean, it's, spoilers. You can watch the whole series on Wild Axe TV on YouTube. But I'll tell you, I mean, full credit to you, like going back to what you talked about with vision and the ability to kind of see something in advance and then piece it together. And I think we do probably complement each other in that way where we'll brainstorm ideas back and forth. I try to knock it. I try to write it down and capture some of the bits and pieces that he does.
Make it digestible.
Well, it's just, I mean, there's so many, you're constantly creating, and
right.
I feel very fortunate that we found each other and that we've had the opportunity to work together over all these years. It means a lot to me that you've invited me into this world and we've been able to travel the world and do all these things. And I'm really looking forward to hosting the Canadian Championships with you later this summer. And buddy, it just means all the world that you're here today. So thank you so much for being here.
I hope Kim's going to come down as well.
I think she is. Yeah, we're going to make it happen. Cheers.
If your timing works out for sure. But it's going to be a blast, buddy. Yeah. It's going to be a great one. So
thanks so much for being here, man. It means a lot.
Yeah.
Cheers,
brother. Yeah, well, and Kim, it's great to meet you, and
so nice,
yeah,
so nice to get to know you, Dave.
Yeah,
you're a gem.
One final.
Well, Ryan's
one final cheers for the road. Slancha.
Yes,
Slancha. I'll teach you a new word, guys. I learned it in Finland. Keepish.
Keepish.
That is cheers in Finnish.
Oh,
I'll take it.
Well, that's a great finish then.
Well done. The pun. Holy cow.
What a guy.
Yeah. That man has lived.
It's like
he's lived a life.
Get the most interesting man in this sport. You did it.
In the world, baby. Yeah. Log rolled an octopus.
What?
Met David Letterman.
Insane.
stunt double for Steve Martin. Like just, and I love the vision, the approach he has to life, where it's like, yeah, you know, I did that, but I'm on to this next thing. Like everything is kind of a step along the way, and it's all building blocks, and one thing leads to another. And you know, I really envy Darren. I really look up to him. I think his approach to life is something that we could all have a little bit more of, you know.
He is definitely the perfect personality for this sport. 100%.
Wild. Truly wild. That's the name, Wild Axe Productions, Wild Axe Championships, all of that stuff. It's the definition of it. Man, that's going to be a tough one to top, I'll tell you. But so thankful that Darren could make it, join us, and of course be, you know, supporting the podcast and we wouldn't be here if it weren't for him. So big shout out to him. Thank you so much for watching. Big thank you to our sponsors, Steel Canada, Wild Axe Productions, Timber Lounge. And we hope you join us next time for our interview with Susie Atwood, the president of the Nova Lumberjack Society. Thank you, Kim.
Thank you. I don't even know where my glass is anymore, but there you go.
Cheers.
Cheers.